Welcome to Kitzbühel, a sunny day, a warm day, International Women's Day. And that's why it's so appropriate that for the first time since 1961, the elite of women skiing have returned to Kitzbühel for a ski race. It's the Europacup Super G today. The Europacup, the second tier of racing on the global world skiing circuit. And it's very exciting to have the women back in Kitzbühel. This live stream, courtesy of the Kitzbühel Ski Club, is brought to you by me, Chris Cummins, commentating all of the starters. They're starting just below the mousetrap jump. It's not the entire strife. They're calling it the Strife Alm this course. And we're underway with the American ski racer in your picture now. This carousel section, such tricky technical skiing as they come into the Steilhang. Trying to get as much speed coming into the flat area now as Trisha Mangan of the USA is looking like she's well and comfortably into this run, getting close to the control gate there. You can see that there's not a lot of snow around on the local mountains. It's been a quite poor season of snowfall, but glorious sunshine for International Women's Day, and it should be a glorious day of racing. The women are so excited to be here in Kitzbühel, the iconic cradle of ski racing. A lot of them telling us that they've been watching racing in Kitzbühel their entire lives, and now they get to don the ski suits, the racing suits, and race down for the first time since 1961. The course ending in the Oberhausbergkante course. 1 minute 22 seconds is the time set by Trisha there. Some of the skiers described it as extreme, the toughness of this court for a Europacup race. But all of them relish the challenge to test their skills on this really emblematic course of ski racing. And you saw there Trisha trying to get that right line off the Steilhang, get the edges on just in time. A big bit of pressure on the lower ski to get you around the corner. The first Austrian out of the start hut is Michelle Niederwieser. Was in the points in Altmark-Sauchensee around the corner over in Salzburg province. We're in Tyrol, of course, now. Big plume of snow coming. So she's got a bit of a drift there and she skied out. Yeah, got it all wrong coming into the carousel. Tried to rescue it, but got those skis sideways. Lost the balance too far on the back heels and thrown around. And after all that waiting, it's a bit of a missed opportunity for the Austrian skier. She'll be really frustrated with that. Looked a little hesitant even coming out of the start hut and just got far too sideways, off balance into the carousel section. And as you can see here, there was just no rescuing the run from that moment. Couldn't quite, yeah, she lost the outer ski, couldn't get the pressure on this hard, compact snow. The course organizers have done a brilliant job because it's very warm in the Alps right now. I heard 8 degrees earlier at the top of the mountain. That means as the races go down, it will be a question of how the course does hold up. Luckily, a lot of this Streifalm course, they're calling this Streifalm course, is in the shadow. But when the sun is glaring on it, those temperatures will mean we'll get softer snow as we look at the overall and Super G and downhill Europacup leader Nadine Fest from Carinthia. Lost a place in the main cadre of the Austrian Ski Federation last year. It was a moment of reflection and she's come back in the best possible reaction, absolutely storming on the world, the Europacup circuit, the second tier circuit. As we go back to the Swiss team now, the first of the Swiss skiers, it's Delia Durra. The skiers are enjoying the great facilities here in Kitzbühel. They've been using the big start hut about 200 meters above them. It's been a great year for the Swiss in the men's and women's so far. Can this continue here in Kitzbühel? Well, much smoother there through the Steilhang, but just as I said, that commentator's curse lost the grip on the outside ski, dragged down a bit. She's slower than the American Trisha coming through Deliadora. Now 7 tenths to make up, but it wasn't the perfect run from the American. So if she gets good gliding skills now through the Brückenschuss, then she might make up some time. She was faster indeed in that gliding section as they sprint down now into, as you see, this sliver of snow between some brown fields as the snow has melted away during this hot early spring. Still there or thereabouts, 7 tenths to make up as they come through the Seidelalm section. Little wide there, had to adjust the line to sneak inside that blue pole. That blue control gate wasn't ideal as she finishes in the Hausberg canter. In the end, nearly a second down. Tricia Mangan of the USA still leads. Didn't get it quite right from top till bottom. From the Steilhang onwards, kept losing touch of her outer ski, out of breath, and a little bit frustrated in the finishing area about 200 meters of altitude up from the Kitzbühel village, the Oberhausberg canter, just ahead of the iconic traverse section that you'll see in January when the men come down on the Streif. But this is great to have the women racing here in Kitzbühel, the first time since the early 60s. Between the 30s and 60s, it was a fixture to have both men and women here, but hasn't been the case since. Now, all eyes on Nadine Fest, the Europacup leader in this discipline, indeed in the overall World Cup as well. Gathering speed into the carousel section. She'll be hungry for success. She wants to get back onto the top echelons of ski racing. She's got a fixed start in the downhill in the World Cup circuit next year, and she's fast too. She's fast too coming into the gliding section now. It's all about the wax on her skis and her gliding position, but she's getting a lovely position and close to those gates too. It's looking good, really low in that aerodynamic tuck from Nadine Fest. She's from Corinthia, training at the Olympia Training Center. There were a lot of help from the great Olympian champion Matthias Meyer. And she's absolutely flying down here. Already a second ahead of Trisha, the American skier who came first out of the starting gate. And this build is leading all the time. Lovely images brought to you, 17 cameras used by the Austrian Broadcasting Corporation. This race is being broadcast live on Austrian television. That's a fantastic boost for the Women's Europacup circuit. And what a run that has been from Nadine Fest. She was the favourite here today, and she's laid down a marker, nearly 2 seconds her advantage over Trisha Mangan. And that is an imposing time to beat. The white helmeted Corinthian skiing fantastically there. Her green ski poles lighting up under the spring sunshine. You can see the fans out sitting in the grass. It really is feeling like a late spring day today. On International Women's Day, it is great to be celebrating women's sport. And getting to see some of these skiers, some of them who have been in the Elite World Cup circuit and then have fallen back out. Others who are young, up-and-coming skiers looking to make their mark, and that's why this TV coverage is so important. We're watching Janine Schmidt now, the second of the Swiss skiers to come out of the start hut. She had a really good result in Garmisch, and Garmisch, again, a very tricky circuit, so this might suit her. Of course, Nadine Fest had laid down a massive challenge there with that storming run. So we can expect to see some time gaps as she comes through the Steilhang. With a nice direct line now, bringing speed into the Schuss. 5 tenths down. It is a big gap, but there's such a big gap between first and second place. As we see this lovely overhead coverage. The footage of her coming through this larch-filled forest in the spring sunshine, the trees throwing out beautiful shadows over the white snow. She's only lost a little bit of time at the moment. She's looking good for a place on the podium, of course. Only 4 out of the start hut so far before her, so it's early days in this race. But she's looking in a good position. 120 down now. Did lose a lot of time in the glide. That's surprising. And again, a slight line adjustment over the Seidel Alm section where there's this wonderful mountain hut. You can go in for a nice snack if you come around here. She comes through into second place, Janine Schmidt. So it's Austria leading, Switzerland leading the USA. 1.6 seconds is a huge deficit, but I do have the feeling that Nadine Fest, with her World Cup pedigree, has laid down an absolute stormer. Next racer, Stephanie Grob, another Swiss skier. She got gold in the Junior World Cup, so another of these up-and-coming racers who hope to establish herself. Quite squat, well built for speed skiing. A bit of the Didier Cush about her. And it's interesting to see them approach the carousel without the speed taken that we see in the men's race when they've come off the Masterfall and the compression. So they've got a more kind of a circumspect entry into this course. Sections of the legendary Strife course. They're calling it the Strife Alm today. She's lost 6/10, but you can see she's got this wonderful position over her skis, get this great angles into the turns and nice and central over the skis. A great technique, one for the future. She's 7/10 down. Now it's stretching out to 8/10, but still a lot of space on the podium at this early section of the course. Her helmet lit up by the sunshine, glinting in the hot rays of the sun. How will that affect this course? Stephanie Grob now, the deficit over a second. Her skis making it clear that the snow is softer than that we usually... Oh yeah, got slid out. I lost momentarily contact with the outer ski, but recovered well. Really lightning quick recovery, quick thinking, but not what she wanted, and she's come over now in 6th position. Frustrating losing her...
oh my God.
That's a good... Oh my God, she said. I don't know if that was, oh my God, that was brilliant. Skiing down there, oh my God, I'm glad I survived. But nice to hear that feedback from the racers. When you have the massive crowds here in January, you don't quite get the intimate immediate feedback from the racers. You saw her losing the line there, coming off the Seidel Alm section and having to make an emergency extra turn, putting the ski sideways into the snow. That cost a lot of speed. Eyes now back to Austria. Viktoria Bügler won Junior World Cup team combined this year, one of the younger of the skiers. This could be a name to watch for the future, so all eyes on Victoria now. You can imagine that when we're watching the elite racers, it's great to know that we saw them first on the Europacup. That's why I love watching this competition. And this is very good skiing now from Viktoria Bügler. She's got a good line off the Steilhang. She's looked like she's taking quite a bit of pace into this section now. They kind of go around the Alter Schneise after this glide. And the gliding skills of Viktoria Bügler are clearly very good, as is the wax on her skis, because she's really well within touch of Nadine Fest. At the moment, she's racing towards a 1-2 position for the Austrians. The young Austrian, a chance to show herself with live TV audiences watching, that she's one to watch for the future, although she did lose a lot of time on that section coming in towards the Seidel Alm. But that was a much better line, like on rails through there. And as she closes out this run, she seems to have a bit of momentum. Where will she be? Comes through the hoops of the finishing line, advertising the Kitzbühel Ski Club who have put on this race. Just misses out on the podium into 4th place. She looks fairly frustrated. It was a good start. And then after Lerchenschuss, she did lose quite a lot of time. There you see getting a bit upright as she adjusted the line, a bit of her chest into the wind, and that's cost some time. It's fun to hear the birds in the background. This is a real spring feeling. Yeah, over the past 64 years, we haven't seen women on the Strife. It was an all-male affair for so many decades, but now we're seeing a succession of great Austrian talents coming down. Another young skier, Victoria Olivier, the downhill champion from last year in the World Championships, in the Junior World Championships. And now she wants to establish herself as an adult skier, and what a chance this is with this live TV audience in Kitzbühel, the cradle of ski racing. And she's got a dynamic line coming out of the Steilhang, and she's well within touch of Nadine Fest. This is looking good. Victoria Olivier, the young Austrian. God, it's so close to that red control, clattering it with her shoulder. The green helmet, sponsoring, and she's actually faster than Nadine, so this is going to be brilliant. She did get a little sideways there, I felt. Wasn't perfect, but Nadine will be, I guess, twitching a little nervously in the finishing arena. What an honor it would be to be the first woman to win in Kitzbühel in 6 decades. But she's lost 5/10 in that midsection. Although her speed at the beginning shows that Nadine Fest hasn't got it absolutely wrapped up yet. There's a lot to be said in this race. Victoria Olivier against Nadine Fest coming towards the finishing line. And in the end, it's 2nd position. So it's an Austrian 1-2. And she's pleased with that. I think when she looks at the time cut, she realized how close she was. Nadine Fest looking delighted with her position. As the camera gets on her, she realizes the sponsors are watching, so gets her helmet sponsored by Austria Work onto her knee. Yeah, you can see how soft the snow is getting when you see the snow fly up there behind Victoria. Big clumps of it. In the winter, you'll see it all like fine, like dust, but now again, that kind of clumpy, wet snow. But they worked so hard to get this course ready. Carmen Spielberger, another Austrian, had a decent, if not spectacular, result in Kvitfjell in Norway. And now racing with bib number 9. Had to make a little adjustment to get her line out of the Steilhang, but 6/10 down. That's not too bad into the shadow at the moment, where the course is looking still great, but then they come into the sunshine where they're gliding, and this will be softening up by the second. But what a wonderful aerodynamic tuck she has to fight against that softening snow, and she's actually made up time on the glide. Sometimes when the top layer melts, then it can actually get quicker, the course. We've seen that early on in the season with the men in Val Gardena. So again, another Austrian on the charge. This next time cut will be vital. Well, 5/10. She was the fastest glider. She's got to get it absolutely right to challenge Nadine there. And I have the feeling that was, well, it was pretty good on rails, but not quite the line that Nadine had. I think she'll have lost a couple more tenths there. Maybe she'll prove me wrong. Let's see. In the end, she comes through into 2nd position, so it's a 1-2-3 for the Austrians. And she's happy with that. Dreimal Rot-Weiß-Rot, they say in the Austrian commentary, 3 times red, white, red. That's, of course, not just the colour of the Austrian suit, but the colour of the Austrian flag as we celebrate International Women's Day. It's also my mum's birthday, by the way. I apologise if you hear me take a sip of my delicious water just to get my breath back ahead of the run of the next Swiss, Livia Rossi. The Swiss won't be happy with seeing 3 Austrians leading the podium. Such a rivalry between the Alpine neighbours, and it's looking, whoa, I don't know about that. That looked like she got a little bit sideways there as she fought against the carousel, the helter-skelter section of this course. Well, we're 4 tenths down, she's within touch. And again, a lovely position over the skis there, right into that tuck, clattering the red control gate. Let's see how her gliding is. This is where the technician will be either thanked or cursed at the end of the day. She's lost a bit more time there. Her line's looking good, but it is, well, it's difficult on these hot conditions. A little off balance there. You saw her outside ski flattering around. It's not been the perfect run so far in terms of aesthetics, but is it fast? No. She's lost another half a second. You can hear the kind of the quite wet sound of the skis at the moment over the snow. Not quite the crunchy ice you hear when they're in the shadow. Little knocked off balance there. We're into the Seidel Alm section, named after this gorgeous timber hut, and she's come over into 7th. And still 3 Austrians at the top of the standings. You can hear how much she's taking out of the skiers. Her long hair flowing in the wind as she took air there off the Seidel Alm jump. And a big smile. What a privilege it is with the Kitzbühler horn, that iconic radio mast in the background where the cyclists race up towards in the Tour of Austria cycling race. As we go back to Austria, really is a great rivalry between the 2 neighbours of the Central Alps. Magdalena Egger, again a top result in Norway in Kvitfjell. Can she build on that? She's trying to get enough speed back, kind of skating into this carousel section. We often see the men coming into the section with such speeds and just fighting to stay on course, but the women trying to build speed. That's an interesting new element to seeing this race on this section of the strife. Not dragged so close to the side netting as we've seen once we saw Bodie Miller skiing right up that in the men's race. But there or thereabouts, and they're all clattering that red one with absolute gusto. It'll have bruises, I think, that pole by the end of the day. And so will the women in their left shoulder, getting lovely and close to the posts here. Magdalena Egger, as we see these overhead shots brought to you by the Austrian Broadcasting Corporation. And you can see some of the ruts. And you can see, of course, too, just how much work has to be done to keep the turn during that flatter section. Now it all speeds up, and now the adrenaline gets back. They're drifting a little bit into the Seidel Alm section. A little bit sideways as we see people having picnics in the sunshine, and Magdalena Egger makes it 1, 2, 3, 4 for the Austrians. Delight in the Austrian Alps for the Austrians, as Magdalena sporting the Raiffeisen sponsor that Hermann Mayer wore for so long, has made it a happy Women's Day, happy International Women's Day for one nationality for the Austrians. Nadine's put back on her big goggles to protect her eyes from the sunshine. Very wise, the opticians will tell you. The rays up the mountain, very, very strong indeed. And now you look at the Swiss coaches. What will they be saying to their athletes as they try and break the dominance shown so far by the Austrian skiers? But it's the Italians who have a chance now. It's Carlotta Del Leonardis, who had a very good Super G result in the top 5 already in Italy this year on home snow. How can she fare on Austrian snow? I must say, warming Austrian snow, and with the nerves on this iconic course. She put in quite a abrupt turn there on the carousel, not so close to the control gates and a bit sideways, and it's not surprising that she's 1.5 seconds down now, but she's trying to make that up with some dynamic skiing into the gliding section. That is a lot to make up though. A further 3/10 being lost as she struggles after what was a bit of a torrid start. And again, in that rut, her outside ski thrown sideways, had to make another adjustment. That will cost a couple more tenths. It's been a bit of a disappointing run from top to bottom from a skier who has shown she really does have what it takes to get a big result on the Europacup, but this won't be her day. Although it will be a great moment to be part of this historic occasion, the return to women to ski racing in Kitzbühel for the first time in professional skiing since 1961. Wasn't the result she was looking for, but I hope she joins her comrades for a bit of a celebration later. There's talk of a party in the Londoner pub, as always, for the men. Why shouldn't the women have a party there too? Often a lot of beer sprayed around there, I have to tell you. And the racers get to serve behind the bar. Back to Austria. Super G in the 2024 World Cup for the juniors. Nicole Eibel got a bronze there. In this discipline, the Super G, of course, the Super G, the second of the speed events, not quite as fast as the downhill. There are more turns, but it is like one for the ones who love the longer skis. But I'm afraid this has been a disappointing beginning for the Austrian skier who has skied out on the carousel. Just began her turn too late, didn't she? And now she's got that humiliating upright glide to an area where she can exit the course. Of course, there are no gaps in the, let's see what went wrong. It was thrown off balance onto the heels and just didn't have enough pressure on the outside ski to get around that left-footed turn to the right, round the right pole. And now she has to go all the way down. Yeah, there's no gaps, of course, in the fence to sneak out of, because otherwise it would be a danger for the following skiers. So she's got to go on a bit like the walk of shame after a long night out. It's the ski of shame when you've skied out right at the top, and with live TV cameras rolling, you wish you were delighting your friends at home. Instead, you're skiing down upright. The next skier will be the first of the French challengers, getting those ski boots so tight. That's why you see them, as soon as they get to the bottom, untightening them. They're incredibly painful if you stay in your boots for longer. She's got about a 30-second wait as the Austrian skier makes her way rather sedately, more sedately she would have wished, to the fishing arena. And the French coach pours some snow onto the back of her neck. That's not because he's a mean japester, that's because it's a way to keep the skiers cool and focused. C'est là, oui, aboli. Allez, allez, they say. Let's go, let's go, let's go to the French skier. The first French skier, so she's a bit of a trailblazer for her team. She'll be radioing back up to her colleagues. Start bib number 14. And again, a little bit sideways there. A lot of the skiers struggling with the carousel. It's interesting with them coming into it from a standstill almost, starting just below the mouse trap jump, and then having to build up speed through those tricky turns. 9th fastest through the speed section after the Steilhang. Someone ringing a bell, a cowbell, to encourage the French skier Loïc. With the snow having melted off the mountainside. No snow in the trees today. They're bright and beautiful and evergreen as the grip underfoot looks to be eluding Louis at the moment, although she's not after a pretty botched beginning on the carousel. She hasn't lost much more time. And she's got chances of making some valuable points on the Europacup today. Of course, every point you make here brings you close to the valuable start in the main Alpine World Cup circuit. So it doesn't just matter whether you get on the podium today, every point matters. Lovely ski helmet she's got with her, kind of a glittery look about it that shines up in the sunshine, but you see her losing purchase on her skis there on her outside ski and getting too far sideways on the carousel. Oh, you cannot afford to do that. But it's so easy to do it with this hard, compact piste and, of course, the nerves. Elisabeth Reisinger, the next skier. She got a 22nd position in the Kvitfjell Super G and the World Cup 2 years ago, so she has mixed it among the best. She'll be hoping for a big result on this, the Europacup Tour. But with the TV cameras rolling, it doesn't feel like a Europacup. It doesn't feel like you're out in the backwaters when you're skiing on parts of the Strive. It feels every bit as prestigious as the World Cup race today in Kitzbühel. These pictures brought to you by the Austrian Broadcasting Corporation. Fine technicians they are. And this audio brought to you by the Kitzbühel Ski Club, helped by the technicians of Audio 2. As we see the Austrian skier Elisabeth Reisinger fighting for points, really. She wanted more, but she looks like she's flying for the side alarm section now, trying to get still a bit too much upright as she came into that section, fighting against the terrain. She's now fighting to get down low in that stance, out of the wind, but the deficit has snuck up to above 2.5 seconds now. So although it's looking neat and tidy as she comes into the Hausberg section, it's not going to be she clattered rather clumsily into that control gate, had to stand up, and I'm afraid it's not been her day. She's slotted herself into the foot of the standings, 13th out of 13 finishes, unlucky 13 so far, and I think she hurt herself actually when she clattered into that blue control gate. Lovely pictures we see there of her fighting for position. And then there you could see her skis. You see her arm position, that she wasn't feeling very comfortable, but managed to regain a balance for that blue turn. As we look at some of the landscape that we know so well from around Kitzbühel, a place that we commentators love to return to. This place is so steeped in skiing history, and the locals love their ski racing. Very respectful of all the races to date, and I'm sure we'll give them a good time tonight. If you're around and fancy partying with some of the world's best skiers, they've announced they'll be there partying. I've heard the Londoner is the place to be tonight. Other options are available. As we have a bit of a TV break, let's look at some of the races. You can see the big chunks of snow flying up from a softening course. Start bib number 9 there. But this is the leader, Nadine Fest. Priceless, it says on her start bib. It's a priceless run she put down. Starting with start bib number 4. I think she forgot to put on her number. Or it's put in very subtly because I can't see it, but she was out number 4, I think, maybe 5. And a big smile from the Corinthian, who's been training with Matthias Meyer, who says that he's been giving her some big tips. Matthias Meyer won 3 Olympic gold, so if you're going to get tips about success on the big circuit, why not go to the Corinthian? We have French skier next, as we get the Hahnenkamm Europacup women's race started again after that TV break. A chance also for the guys with the shovels to flatten out some of the ruts. Allez, say the French coaches, let's go. And the next skier is Garance-Meyer. She's a Junior World Cup winner, World Championship winner in the parallels. The tourney discipline that will suit her skills here as she comes through the carousel. But now it's all about letting those skis run through the Stahlhang section, holding on to the grip so you don't fly into the barriers, but not putting on too much pressure on the outside ski that you scrub off too much speed. And she's a second down on Nadine Fest's time in that early section, with the Wilde Kaiser Mountains looming in the background. Dragged a little bit wide over that left-footed ski turn there, the big turn into the slalom section, and it did cost her time. I thought it might. The blue, white, red ski suit a bit off the line, and again making a minor adjustment there as she comes into the Hausberg section, this final climactic section of the ski race, trying to get enough speed to come over the line, and she finds herself, well, ahead of the Austrian skier at the foot of the standings, but not where she wants to be. Over 2.5 seconds down. Didn't go the way she wanted, but valuable learning experience, don't you think, for these younger skiers? The next skier is Italian. She's called Vicky Bernardi. She's had some good results on the Super G, this more turning of the two speed disciplines. And she's looking like she's hungry for speed on this very, very tricky course. The Strife, they're on the actually official Strife now. They're calling the course today the Strife Alm, but it takes in sections of the course we know so well from the men's racing, perhaps the most iconic ski race in the world, down the Strife in January. This whole section we've seen, that's all part of the Strife, as is this gliding section, and then they deviate a bit before returning to the Hausberg section. And at the moment, the Italian skier, they're or thereabouts for good points, but not challenging Nadine Fest's time at the moment. Indeed, she's a 1.5 seconds down now, but looking very compact and getting very nice and close to the control gates. And you can see the speed she's caught up there. Looks like there's some nasty ruts around the Seidelalm area, and the course will be chopping up a little bit. It will be a real question of how the skiers deal with that. Do they try and choose a cleaner line, or do they just accept they're going to get jutted around by the ruts? It remains to be seen what will be the fastest tactic. What's for sure is that Vicky Bernardi of Italy is not challenging the podium down into... Oh, ow, ow. That was a bit of an unfortunate incident. She's crashed into... She crashed in the finishing area. And just when I was looking up at the times, I took one of my beady eyes off what was going on. She suddenly lost an edge, leant backwards actually, and had a bit of a nasty crash down in the finishing arena. I'm assuming she didn't hurt herself. I guess not, because they would have stopped the race. There's Amy Charbonnier, who was 12th in the Super G not long ago in Bardonecchia, where they had the Olympic snowboarding back in the day. So she's got a bit of form coming into this race, the French one, skier Charbonnier, from a ski racing family. And let's see her over the speed gun here. Well, she's in 14th position. Speed was not bad, 26. Yeah. Into the gliding sections. She's 1.25 seconds down, Charbonnier. I was going to say she comes from a rich heritage. A lot of her family members have been involved in ski racing, but she's 2 seconds down. Tricky, tricky, tricky. Can anyone gain speed on this warming course? We're down to bib number 19 now already. 18, sorry. She's got this lovely ponytail of hair flying up behind her, showing us the speed, a bit like the flags on a ship. But she's losing time all the way down. Again, got a little bit sideways. The rock music guiding her home, but she's gone down into 16th position of 18 starters. She's done a lovely moose celebration sign like Sam Moose, and she seemed pretty happy to have got down there. Now I like to see the enthusiasm for skiing in general. You see what I mean? The way that the long hair flows around gives it a great look, isn't it? The first of the German skiers now. Germany celebrated success here of Thomas Dresen in the men's races a few years back. Can Alla Schillinger, right at the beginning of her career, can she emulate the great Thomas Dresen in the zebra suit that the German skiers have been wearing since time immemorial? Lovely silky skiing through the carousel section, but was it fast? That's the question. Was it too silky? Maybe. 1.29 deficit. Can she make up any of that time now with this hungry looking skiing right on the into the skis pressing towards the front, getting a lot of good contact with the snow, early contact with the snow, squashing any air, and sticking to the racing line. Losing time all the way. I do think the conditions aren't helping. It is very warm out there. You can hear the birds welcome spring in the trees. The evergreens that line this iconic course. Anna Schillinger, she's lost quite a lot of time. She goes in to 11th though. Not bad. As her white helmet is mirrored by the white dusting of snow on the top of the Kitzbühel, the south-facing slope there. Lost most of its snow, but it's got a bit of a snow cap. It was artistically lit up next to her white helmet. As she skied into a position where she'll get some points, probably 11th after 19 ski races, but was hoping, I think, for more today. A shake of the head. So 4 Austrians leading the standings at the moment, and another Austrian on the course now. We join it on the carousel. Still the crunching ice there. She fought against this pretty well, and she's taken Anna Schilke a deficit of only a second into this gliding section, so she could get a top 10 at the very least if she keeps that speed going. That's been the best time we've seen for a while at that section of the course. Anna Schilke now in 11th. Of course, what's good is the women have a second opportunity tomorrow to improve on their racing. There's another Super G, same time, same place tomorrow. And what a lot of support she's getting. You can hear the bells ringing for Anna. And looking good, actually. And this is a good time, given the conditions. She can get a good placing with this. It was lovely seeing her big sweeping turn around the Seidelalm section of the course. Now into this closeout on the Hausberg. This meadow above the great Hausberg Kante. And she comes through into 5th position. Believe it or not, we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the Austrians. It's not just International Women's Day, it's Austria Day. Lovely looking skiing. Got thrown a bit onto her heels, but I think that's a reflection of the risk she was taking. My dermatologist will be screaming out to everyone to be putting on the factor 50 today as they wait in the crowd, as we watch Paola Orecchioni, a French skier with a bit of an Italian name because she comes from near the Piedmont, on that border between the Savoy and the Piedmont region, where a lot of the French have Italian heritage, and vice versa. Borders, of course, in Europe, always in flux. In the old days, sadly, in modern times too. Paola Orecchioni now, that's a good time too, so she has a good opportunity of breaking into the top 10. and challenging some of the Austrian hegemony right now. Looking good from Paula. As she comes into the section where the snow has softened up, she's kept a lot of speed going. 14th at the moment. She's taken a different line there than some of the skiers, far wired out towards the red line. Gave herself a lot of space to set up these technical turns, but I think it was the wrong choice because it's cost her quite a lot of time. And now she really needs to put on the afterburners. Ooh! Lost her inside ski and did a bit of the splits, rescued herself very well. It will have cost her quite a lot of time, but that could have been a nasty crash, and she comes over into 21st position. Paola Orecchioni right at the foot of the standings, but she had a pretty scary moment here. She saw she was offline, tried to put too much pressure onto the inside ski there, and in the end did the splits, but rescued herself, got inside the gate, finished the run, and lives to fight another day. Here's her compatriot, Vittoria Cappellini, not her compatriot, her rival from the Italian team, who had a good result this season in the Europacup in Sauchensee, not far away. That's in the Schiamadei vast ski area, where our technician Johan likes to ski. Now the Italian skier is, well, everyone is there or thereabouts at the moment. They're coming within a second and 20 of Nadine Fest's time, and then it remains a question of how you deal with these warming conditions and how your gliding is and whether your technician got the right wax for you. If he did, or she did, I can imagine the odd beer being bought tonight during the celebrations after what has been already a legendary day, the return of women's racing to the strife, to Kitzbühel. But I'm afraid Vittoria Cappellini is not going to be challenging the top places, all at the moment in the hands of the Austrians. Bit of a disappointment. For the Italian skier, but for us, no disappointment, as we see those wonderful close-ups of her skiing. And we watch Camilla Vani now, the next Italian. Another Italian who had a good time in Sauchensee. Very steep Super G there. So maybe that will send her good vibes for success on this course, where confidence is so important. You have to believe that you can be the master or mistress today of the Strafe course, the dominatrix of this very difficult section of skiing. And she's within a second of Nadine Fest at this early section. That's good news for the Italian skier. Now back into the gliding section as we see a man come out on a spade to flatten out the ruts that her edges have made. Camilla Vani lost a little bit more time, but that's just not looking so bad for the Italian. Ooh, thrown off balance there by far too tight a director line coming into that red gate. It threw off balance. She had to ski the long way round. Camilla Vani throwing away a good position with a line error. And now it's catch up. She's trying to stay so low to the snow, trying to keep her chest out of the wind. Those wonderful pink guards she's got blocking away the goats, and she dives, leaning forward over the finishing line. 12th position. Not bad.
Very, very great.
Very, very brave, that's what I say. Yeah, very brave line choice there. Managed to bosh that pole out of the way with her pink, fetching pink arm guards as we go back to Alison Mollin, the American who had a start in the downhill in the World Cup in Garmisch a few weeks ago, where we had that awful crash. One of the skiers ended up in a coma. It was a very difficult course. A reminder of the risks that the skiers take when they are taking part in speed skiing in the elite of ski racing. Ooh, a bit of a rock through off balance just when she didn't want to be thrown off balance coming into the line choice into the carousel section. I wonder how much time that's cost the American. Of course, compatriot of Lindsey Vonn, the greatest speed skier of all time. I wonder if she's been picking her brains. Lindsey Vonn has been racing on the World Cup circuit again this year after a 5-year retirement. And at the moment, Alison Mollin is making a good fist of this, isn't she? A nice direct line now, taking a very... Oh, she lost a little bit of balance there. Sat back, thrust back over the heels of her skis, a bit of a wobble. Had to wave her arms in the air to regain balance. But it hasn't cost her that much, let's be honest. With the stars and stripes waving in the finishing area. Can she restore some pride to America, which is suffering reputation-wise in Europe at the moment, let's be honest. She comes through in 12th position, just behind her colleague Tricia. Cheers up to the finish line. Yep, well done. If you're listening, by the way, on this live stream, maybe you're listening from the United States. Hello. A very early morning for you, or a very late night. Sina Fausch. The next Swiss skier, can she break the dominance of the Austrian skiers today? Red, white, red day on International Women's Day. Ooh, a bit hesitant, I feel there. She plunged into the carousels, into the Steilhang section. I think she could have taken a slightly more attacking line out of the carousel. Someone on a speed gun there. Ooh, do you know what? She's made a liar of me. She's within a second of Nadine Fest. That's actually very good speed. So she has an opportunity of breaking up the Austrians. Yeah, Sina Fausch, 15th at the moment. She's lost a little bit of time. Bib number 25. Yeah, I can hear an English rival commentator. Standing well into a tuck, but more upright than, for example, we saw Nadine Fest. That will cost a few hundredths. And, oh, do you know what? The last minute, just a minute. So many have made that line of getting too far over to the skiers left there and having to make that adjustment to tuck in to the gate. Sina Fausch comes through into 17th position. It looked really good at the beginning, but then she had a few line areas low down, but she did very well to rescue that. Yeah, she was thrown out too far out to the left of the course, and she ducked inside the blue course. As we see the fans there. This is the starting area. The skiers making their warm-up routines. Nadia Delago, 11th in the World Cup racing Kitzbühel this year. So this is a skier who has really mixed among the very best of world skiing. Almost in the top 10 of the World Cup in a race this season. So she'll be brimming with confidence. Can she bring that confidence to fruition here in Kitzbühel, the cradle of ski racing? Let's see how fast she is. Exactly 1 second down on Nadine Fest. Nadia against Nadine. Again, she's got some of those fantastic pink arm guards that I think should be mandatory on the World Cup circuit. They look fantastic. Nadia Delago, yeah, good speed, and she really loves it. She loves it when she's steep, does Nadia. And she'll be enjoying, after the gliding section, the re-acceleration. A little bit of an extra edge set there to readjust her time. That'll cost something. How much did it cost? It cost 0.3 of a second. That's the Seidelalm hut I've been telling you about. Go there if you're on holiday in Kitzbühel. Go there and eat the knödel with sauerkraut. That's my advice to you. But all eyes on Nadia in the blue and white Italian ski suit. Comes over in my 5th position. Brilliant. with sensational, as they say in Germany. With bib number 26, she's broken the Austrian dominance. Now it's only a top 4 for the Austrians, not a top 5. And we look back over the greening hills of the rounded Kitzbühel Mountains as the Andorra launches its Cande Moreno from Andorra. Well, Andorrans know these sort of conditions. It can get quite warm in the mountains there in the Pyrenees between France and Spain, that tax haven in the High Pyrenees. Green and white suit and a swashbuckling fight through the carousel and a very fast time too. So Cande Moreno of Andorra is looking to set off a sensation here, upset the Austrians and break their dominance, break their hold on the podium. She's lost a little bit more time there though. She's looking fast. Skis flying off the snow surface. It's looking fast, but is it fast? Sometimes when they look fast, it's because they're going a bit raggedly. We'll see it the next time check. Cande Moreno, yeah, looking still within a second. This is great skiing. It's great to see another nation, one of the lesser known mountain nations, fighting it for the top positions on the Europacup tour. And she's kept in a low position all the way along. In the end, she's gone into 5th too. So now 5th is the position everyone's fighting over. Austria keeps its top 4. Big smile from the charming Andorran. Fantastico indeed. You see the emblem of these. We saw Leonie Zeg now, a Junior World Cup Super G silver medalist this year. Yeah, we keep seeing the emblem of the mountain goat, the chamois, being every time a starter comes out of the hut. That's the emblem of the Hahnenkamm ski race, this wonderful ski race. Held for the men every year in January, and now, for the first time since the 1960s, an addition for the women. Leonie Zeg got very sideways over the carousel. I don't think that the trophy will be going to her today. The women getting a chamois, a kits trophy to take home as well. Her big goggles being lit up by the sun and her arms waving behind her. She tries to get the balance right as she's thrown off balance by these ruts that are building up in the hot snow, or the less cold snow than they'd like it. It is warm in the Austrian mountains today, very spring-like. It's only 8th of March. Could be a lot warmer at this time of year, but we've had an early spring. She comes through Leonie Zeg towards the bottom of the standings, 24th. It wasn't a run she was looking for, shakes her head. It went wrong right at the beginning, to be honest. Was thrown off balance on the carousel section. I think that took her mind a little bit because she also got the line wrong into the Steilhang, and from then it was catch up all the way, but our focus goes back to the mountain in France. And Axel Chevrier, her 58th appearance on the Europacup. Still hoping to break through onto the World Cup Tour, but she will need some spectacular results. Maybe one could come here in the cradle of ski racing in Kitzbühel. Her red skis clattering over the ice, but how will they glide over the softer snow in the gliding section? That's what we're going to see. She's done a very good opening section. Has Axel from France using her nous, using her experience to help avoid too much of a heavy edge set on the steep section. She's lost quite a bit of time on the glide, but now this course, as they do this kind of diversion around the men's course, it's Steepening from about this point on again, we get steep again. As we get these overhead shots. Makes them look almost sedate from this angle. They're certainly not. They're flying at well over 100 kilometers per hour. The green fields either side and the bird song calling in the spring. And Axel Chevret comes through into 16th position. Good points there. Only one skier left in the top 30. There will be another Super G tomorrow here in Kitzbühel, same time, same place, on the Streif Alm, they're calling the course. But for now, let's focus on the last of the top 30. It's an Italian, Giulia Albono, 7th in the Europacup in St. Moritz. They're above the tree line. They hold that early on in the season. Very different sorts of snow than today. How will she cope? Hard, compact, icy at the top. She's attacking the course, but had to put on quite a lot of pressure there to get around it. Of course, you have to, but it's a balance of letting skis run. How well has she let them run? Let's see. Not well enough, because she's 1 second and 56 hundredths down as Giulia Albono. We're going to have a little of a TV break after this run. I'm afraid Giulia has missed the entry into that section of the course and has missed the gate and has skied sadly out. We'll have a little wait anyway as the time for the TV teams to have a little advertising break. And also for the teams that are making sure the ruts don't get too nasty. You're going to flatten stuff out. Yeah, she was coming around that corner, around the side of the elm. It's a blind corner. She didn't get the entry in, and by the time she could see where she was going, she realized, oh no, it's the wrong way. Not enough time to get enough pressure on the outside ski and slip inside that gate. But there you go, as we look at the leaders so far. Results with the backdrop of the Wilde Kaiser, the FIS Alpine Ski Europacup, won, it seems, by Nadine Fest. Won today, Saturday the 8th of March 2025. But what do you think is happening on Sunday 9th of March 2025? Well, the Super G of the women again in Kitzbühel. If something's worth doing, it's worth repeating. Beautiful view over the Wilde Kaiser. And that's the podium.
Recognition ceremony.
The record. All Austrians. Nadine Fest. Carmen Spielberger. And in third position. Yeah, in third position, Victoria Olivier.
Austria in the house. Your applause for Carmen Spielberger.
Carmen Spielberger in second position.
The one and only. Make some noise for Austria and Nadine Fest.
And the winner, applauded also by her friends and colleagues. Big smiles. I thought she'd win today. You see, I suggested it. You remember at the beginning. She's absolutely brimming with confidence, and she's got another opportunity tomorrow. Nadine Fest, the leader in the Super G standings, the downhill standings, the overall standings, and she'd been thrown out of the main Austrian ski squad. Had to go back to the Europacup, this second tier, to prove herself. And what attitude it shows to take what is a bit of a slap in the face and turn it into something positive. Learn the lessons. She's reorganized her training. She's re-found her hunger, and she's worked on her technique with the likes of Matthias Meyer, the men's three-time Olympic champion. And didn't she look good? Look how aerodynamic she was in that tuck. You can see how warm it is. They've all got they've got their race suit soft t-shirts out. People put on sun cream, please. But I say, that's the provisional leaderboard because we have that kind of recognition ceremony. That doesn't mean that the race is entirely over. We've got many more races to come from many more different nations, including one from Kenya, Sabrina Simada, a Kenyan racer. Start bib number 48. We're making history in so many ways today in Kitzbühel. And of course, Onar Bartlett from Great Britain, the country of Dave riding. And me, your commentator for the day, Chris Cummins. Hoffi Dara Fritzberger from Iceland, also taking part. In 30 seconds, it all get going again. And it will get going with a racer from Bosnia-Herzegovina. I love it when ski racing feels like it really is a worldwide competition. Elvedina Mutsraferaija. I hope I pronounced that right. I have to say I'm not an expert on the career of this skier, but I do think that the Bosnians have a brilliant ski suit. Yellow sleeves, blue legs, and very fast-looking skiing from the Bosnian. Could they create a major upset and break up the podium that's already been celebrating? She's very fast, is Elvedina. Within a second of the Dean's time, so hopefully whilst the skiers on the podium are putting on their sun cream, they are aware that there are threats still up in the start hut. Elvedina Mutsraferaija is enjoying these big, wide, sweeping Super G turns as you come into this section where the overhead camera shows just how much snow has melted off the slopes in this early spring. Ski racing, so dependent on the weather. It's absolutely beautiful today. There's a group called Protect Our Winters who are fighting for more sustainable policies across Austria, across the world, across ski areas to make sure that we have winters to enjoy in the future, as the Bosnian skier slots into 14th position, which I think is brilliant. She doesn't even look that impressed by it, so we see she's very ambitious. Jacqueline Wireless has just started her campaign from the start hut. We're watching now, bursting out. And join her later. Oh, she's almost lost it. She was so fast through the carousel that we join her on the exit to the Steilhang. Jacqueline Wiles. Again, there or thereabouts, good racing. Got nice and close. That control gate is now wobbling in the wind after she clattered it. You can see there's really not much of a difference between, I'd say, the last 15 and the beginnings of the next sector. So we can expect close, tight racing. And we did see, to my joy, that skiers made it into the top 5 of lower bib numbers, which shows that the snow is to some extent holding up, despite the warm temperatures. The spring-like temperatures, well, it is spring now, but there really are temperatures where people are out sunbathing. Comes through into 11th position, so that'll give the skiers in the start hut a lot of hope. Well done indeed. The next Italian now. Ooh, really lost a bit of grip on the outside ski there into the Steilhang. Almost made contact. Nicole Delago with the advertising banners there that keep the skiers safe. Stop them going into the forest. but it was very, very fast. So can we expect an upset here? She's kept a lot of speed through the gliding section. She's certainly looking hungry. There's room on the podium. And she's got a bit of Sofia Goggia look about her, the way that she's just risking everything. She is fast. Only lost a little bit. Nicole Delago on the hunt to break up the podium that's already celebrated. That would be bitter for those who thought they've already secured their podium place. Certainly not safe. Nicole Delago looking brilliant at the moment. Gliding over those final ruts and comes through into 4th position. Oh, well, well, well. Good position. She seems angry. Why is she angry? Let's have a look. Was it the ruts? As we see the emblem of the race, that kit, that mountain champion, very sideways there from the Swiss skier. I'm still intrigued by the Italian skier who came into 4th. Essentially, he was so angry, but she seemed to be angry. Anyway, so much anger in the world nowadays, don't you think? This is Jasmin Matz from Switzerland with a red helmet as we make her out coming through the gliding section with the Wilde Kaiser Mountains jagged in the background, still snow among their crags. I was skiing there myself 3 weeks ago with my little boy Charlie. He's gonna be a downhiller. Loves the speed. Not so keen on the turns. Jasmin Mattis is will be fighting for points, and those points are so important to get that bib number up. But she's got very sideways there, has rescued herself into the course with some emergency braking, but I'm afraid that's going to cost her some significant time, and in fact she's outside of the standings. Of the skiers who finished, she was the slowest, over 4 seconds down. You can see where it all went wrong, got far too far to the left out of the skier's perspective. That's not a replay we're seeing. We're seeing a replay of looking very good, landing off the saddle arm and getting straight back into tuck. That's better. Now, we're getting to a new ski federation celebrating the return to ski racing on the women's side in Kitzbühel. Someone from the Czech Republic. It's Barbora Novakova. The Czechs known more on the technical side because, of course, many of the mountain slopes there shorter, where it's easier to set up a giant slalom or slalom course and a downhill course. But we've seen in men and women's racing recently, the Czechs have had quite a lot to say in it. And Barbora Novakova is making a decent fist of this legendary course. Barbora Novakova now, whoa, if she's going to get within the points, she's going to have to make it very, very smooth and silky, these final turns. Much better line than her predecessor through that key section, come into the Hausberg section. But it's touch and go to get within the top 30 now. Let's see. 20th. That's good. She's worked out that celebration. One hand, one glove to her turquoise helmet, and points. Bit of a dance, a relaxing dance for the next Austrian skier on this brilliant day for Austrian skiing. But it got very, very sideways there. That's been a bit of an uncomfortable start to this run from Eva Schachner, and already she's lost a lot of time. But lovely how close she gets to the control gates there. She's got her line absolutely right, but that last element of risk is lacking, I feel, if she wants to mix it among the best. But there are lots of points still on offer, and those points are so important when you're just trying to improve your ranking. The better your ranking, the better your start bib in the Europacup, the better your ranking in the World Cup as well. Eva Schachtner. Looking very, very far too far wide. You know what, I didn't finish my sentence, so I can pretend I was going to say looking far too wide. I was going to say looking very comfortable. But she was like on rails, but the rails were leading in the wrong direction. They were leading outside that blue control gate, the wrong side of that. There will be no points for Eva today. Sara Thaler now of Italy. From the South Tyrol, the beautiful German-speaking part of Italy, the capital of which is Bozen, and so many great Austrian. Oh my God! I almost set off an international incident. So many of the great Italian skiers come from South Tyrol. For example, Dominic Paris on the men's side, or Manuela Mölk on the women's side, of course. Two seconds down though, Sara Thaler. A lot of work to be done. Doesn't have the best of grip, it seems. In some of these turns, there's a little bit of a drift on those turns, putting her skis quite wide. You can see how long they are. They have these long, long skis to get good speedy turns. But she's looking like she's going to be outside the points unless she can find some miracle on these lower sections. In fact, she's last in the standings, over 4 seconds down. Yeah, 2 European Cup Super Gs taking place in Kitzbühel this weekend. They start right here at the Mausfallboden, the mousetrap ground. They go into the carousel, and then they finish in the Oberhausbergkante. The course is a real test of bravery, but also skill and endurance. It's long for Super G in a women's circuit, and it is absolutely fire-burning, because as well as the very technical turns, you've got those big glides where you have to stay in that aerodynamic position. This is Emily Wöhler of German. He says switching between the English and German pronunciations gets tricky sometimes. I start pronouncing Americans with a V and Germans with a W. It's tricky. I tell you, it's tricky. The zebra suit, made so famous back in the day when I was growing up by Katja Seitsinger, the great dominator of women's skiing in speed and tech back in the 1990s. Emily Wöhler won't be fulfilling her legacy today. 5 seconds down, and at the bottom of the standings of those who have finished. Yeah, yesterday the athletes were able to inspect this treacherous course during a slope inspection, and it was quickly clear to them the Strife has it all. The Strife Alm, they're calling this adjusted course, but it is a really tricky course. And we're seeing a different angle there of the Austrian skier getting thrown out towards the Steilam Angelina Salzgeber. And she was fast. It was an interesting angle, actually, to see the style hang there, because you see what would happen if they didn't have that hoarding. You'd be off into those very steep woods. Slightly built skier, Angelina. She's got time to build up more power. At the moment, technically, she's looking great on what is, let's be honest, softening snow. You saw the ruts throwing a ski sideways there. That was a nice line there, kept it tight, direct, but still smooth, didn't have to put on any brakes. And Angelina Salzgeber, the young Austrian, comes through into 21st position. And as you can see from Bozic, her legs are burning. is the internationally recognized word for, oh my goodness, that was hard work. You saw her getting really thrown sideways there on the carousel. They have to put so much pressure onto those edges, but you can't put on too much pressure or it costs you too much time. It's such a calculation you have to make as we watch the Liechtensteiner now come out of the start hut. I like this angle of the Steilhang. It's Elisa Maria Negri of the Czech Republic. In the valley, we hear the train arriving. That's so wonderful. Public transport bringing ski fans to the Kitzbühel area. I like that. We have to look after our mountains. Start number bib, Elisa Maria Negri, is got quite a deficit so far. But this is valuable learning experience. And wow, what a day to be part of. A women's race in Kitzbühel for the first time in these spheres since 1961 and on International Women's Day. Well done to Michael Huber and his team at the Kitzbühel Ski Club for bringing us all together. It's great to see this nod to equal opportunities on the most iconic of skiing mountains, the Hahnenkamm mountain. This rounded, often quite shadowy, wooded mountain in front of the historic town of Kitzbühel, famous since the Middle Ages. Another Italian now, bib number 41. It's Melissa Astegiano. Deep in her tuck there, Melissa looking really, really dynamic. Has lost a bit of speed, but you can see that this woman has great talent. The way that she's standing so smoothly over the skis, she makes it look so easy. It is hard skiing when the sun is beating so fiercely down on the slope. It's hard to mix it with the fastest times, but we have seen that is possible, and only a few moments ago. Again, it's a mistake they're often making. I guess you're following the lines of other skis before you that look like you can get more space out to left than you actually can, and you have to duck inside. Later we'll see Dora Frigaisdottir from Iceland. I saw an interview of her yesterday. She said even looking out of the start house was thrilling. That's what it means to these skiers to be here today. The next Austrian now is bib number 42, and a lot of support for this skier who has found a good line there, I think, into the Steilhang. We see her now from the more traditional angle. It's Victoria Ringsvanner. This run is bigger, steeper, and more prestigious than many of the runs that you'll find on the women's Europacup Super G course, and that's why it's so special being here today. Whether you are in first place or 50th place, it's a huge experience to race down the Strife in racing conditions, and to be part of history must be very exciting for these racers. There are some big names here today. We saw Nadia Delago with a start bib outside the top 30, but still coming down in 5th position. And Con Marino of Andorra also had a really good run. For Victoria Ringsvanner, I'm afraid outside the points today, but they're all writing a new chapter in women's ski racing, plunging down this Strife Alm course. We've got a Brit coming later. And we are now following Ludovica Righi of Italy. Can she break the Austrian dominance? I love this gliding section, the greenness of the trees, and then the absolute jagged beauty of the Wildekaiser behind them. As we see Ludwika 2 seconds down, but getting a nice direct schuss at this run. Her green ski poles flailing up behind her. You can see the earth bared as the snow's melted off. And what a wonderful image that is of the big rally-like carve around the Slalom section, where you just see the amount of power that the skiers have to find in their legs. Ludwika's come through into 31st position, just outside the points, but with a big smile on her face and the shrug, a slightly disappointed but philosophical shrug of her shoulders as we go back up to the next Swiss skier, number 44, bib number 44. Tight on that section there, looking really good, I think, on the carousel section, looking like really hungry for it, but then lost a little bit of purchase on the outside ski, coming to the Starthang. Let's see how much that's cost her. Not so much. Alina Willi now is the Swiss skier in question. And with a start like that, she's well within a chance of making some good points here today. Alina Willi.
A meter with the feet off of the first gate, and then you end up about.
Yeah. Thrown high there. We can see that, as you say, from this view, you can really see the line calls very well from this view from way up above the skiers. And she's looking good for points. You see her there, though, having to do, well, again, that's where it's costing skiers. And she's screaming because as I thematized the line choices, we saw her getting it just wrong coming to that corner where so many have, and ending up to the left of the control gate. You have to say that's an inspection mistake, and I think because so many people have made that mistake, then there are so many ruts, lines. You can see the lines of other skiers going out left, so you think, okay, I'll follow those lines, and then to your horror, you find you're following the lines of someone who skied out. But we're back on course already with the next German challenger. And Lisa Seebacher has quite a lot of work to be done if she's going to be within the points. Losing the best part of 2 seconds on the upper section. Slightly built, not the most kilos on the scales, which can be a disadvantage in these gliding sections. But she's got a lovely aerodynamic position, hasn't she? Those tips of the handles thrown out in front, but she got the line wrong too, and she skied out. So we're seeing a couple of skiers now having a bit of a disaster as we get towards the back end of the field, but there's some quality skiers still to come. Yeah, it was just off the that little hump there, blind jump, and that again, we have to say, inspection mistake. No one really to blame but yourself. Next ski racer is Nora Gugisberg from Switzerland, and she's given herself a big push out of the start gate on the Maustrap-Boden, the Mauswaldboden, but been really affected by the ruts there, choosing her line into the carousel, this helter-kelter switchback section. And Nora Gugisberg has work to do. Such a talented young skier. And very aesthetic to watch. Love her tug. Banging that control gate out of her way. It's not the fastest thing to do, it's the most spectacular thing to do. To clip it's good because you are taking a very short route through the course. But when you really bang into them, of course, that affects your balance and it affects your pace. More central now, a bit too upright, maybe in her stance. Back into the tuck now. But it's going to be touch and go for points, I feel. As Mumford and Sons sing to her, she squeezes into the standings. 29th, Nora Gugispjell. We're already on course now with the next Austrian. The iconic red, white, red suit of the Austrians. And attacking this course now. Still very icy on the carousel section into the Steilhang. High line there. Was it faster? Did just go off too much speed? Well, Pia Halzenberger is there or thereabouts. Well done, Pia. This is a good opportunity for him to make some good points and pick up some ranking points, which will improve her bid number. Pia looking good into the gliding section. Now it's patience and wax that counts and aerodynamism, and she's looking good. Arms a little bit out wide there because of the speed, which is catching a lot of air onto her chest that way, but the speed seems good as she comes in. Now here is where the line choice is so important. It's this next corner here, and I think she's nailed it. Yeah, she has nailed it. Go on, Nadine. It's going to be a race for points now. And Pia Halzenberger has delighted the crowd by finishing within the points from start bib 47. Should be pleased with that, I'm sure. I'm trying to work out what ski suit this is. It's certainly very fetching. As we see, Sabrina Simada of Kenya on course. I've been looking forward to this all day. I love it when the international world of skiing feels international, and what could be more international than a skier from Kenya? Of course, there's lots of snow on Mount Kenya, but I doubt that's where this woman has learnt her skiing. Sabrina Simada bringing some diversity to the Europacup circuit and bringing some very good skiing, although very upright there, and was pushed out into the softer snow. That will cost too much time, I fear. Sabrina Simada. Maybe we'll see her at the Olympics. So let's keep an eye on her. Well, it's really, really good skiing, isn't it? Anyone who can tackle the strife in racing conditions is a great skier. My colleague at Audio 2, Gregor, and I did a video once of amateurs trying to take off the first few meters of the course. And you just see it's not like skiing as we know it. It's so hard and icy. Eliana Stössel, I'll tell my anecdote later. All eyes on the Swiss now. But well done to the Kenyan skier. I enjoyed that. She's got a braided ponytail. Plaits. And had to make a bit of a line adjustment to get it right coming over the Steilhang, but maybe she's kept some speed. Not enough, really. 1.76 is a big deficit if you're on the hunt for points. Now she's into the rhythm, and when she's in rhythm, she looks great with the shadow of the Wilde Kaiser. Looking over this course. Eliana Stössel now. This is again this chance we have from this overhead view to look at the line, and I hope they show us through to where so many people have got it wrong, because it's here. You come through this gate here, and the red one, and then round this blind corner, and yeah, whoa, she only just snuck inside, and then didn't get in the next one. Yeah, so many have got that wrong. I mean, it is a tricky course setting, let's be fair, But it's happened to so many skiers. You'd think that teammates would be radioing up, that coaches would be getting at you. Because if you're on bib number 49, you make the same mistake as dozens of other skiers before you. I find that disappointing. Now, let's see if anyone can knock the three Austrians off the podium when we're already into the Brits. Giselle Göringer. She was talking about the Londoner. This is why I've got onto my topic of London. She was talking about how much she was looking forward to her beer tonight. That's the sort of attitude that we Brits take to the World Cup circuit and the Europacup circuit. Giselle Göringer. I'm trying to work out, and you forgive my ignorance, but they pronounce it the British way, or I fear there might be some Austrian heritage. So I'm going to go with Göringer and find out more about her for the next time we have Europacup skiing. It's great to see the British flag flying in the Europacup. She's already 5 seconds down, so I'm afraid she's not going to be troubling the points. But Nicole, it's great to see you. Competing in Kitzbühel and being part of this historic day. She's not happy with the course, but she will be happy when she looks back at her day and realizes that she was among the finishers on the first women's race on the Strive since the year 1961, since most of us were born. The racing continues with Norway, with Petter Lertersen. The sun, and it's midday zenith now. Control that little jump really well, looking very smoothly, but quite upright if I am overly critical. Hello to everyone watching on YouTube on this Hahnenkamm-Rennen Damen race. It's great to have your company. We saw there a little bit of a line issue in the same spot. I think a lot of racers would like their run again. And here's the good news. They will have it again tomorrow. A second Super G again on the Strive. And that'll be a great relief for those who got a line wrong today, because they'll have that little bit more experience. Of course, the difference between downhill and Super G is you have 2, sometimes 3 training runs in downhill, as the Norwegian had a bit of an error even in the finishing zone there. But let's focus on the here and now, not on tomorrow, but on today. Innerholm-Vempstad. So low in that tuck, that's gorgeous. If you are watching on the live stream, do leave us a comment. It's great to hear what you think about the racing. Try and leave a positive comment. I'm trying to get to grips with Europacup skiing. Today, some of these names aren't as familiar as the ones we see win week in, week out on the Alpine World Cup. But I find it such a privilege to watch the Europacup when we can, because some of the stars of the future are coming from here. And some of the names that we knew and loved from the World Cup, we see again and see what's happened to them. Do I need say that she skied out at the same spot? Please. Don't give yourself much space. Yeah. She bangs her pole. You need to start that turn a lot earlier, much higher above the gate, and get inside the blue control gate. The 2 Norwegians, one saying, look, you could have told me, I only just finished myself. Yeah, it's been pretty obvious all day that's been going on. Yeah, please leave us a comment. Or a thumbs up. If you are enjoying the ski racing and you want more, and particularly if you want the women to return to the strife. It's a one-off at the moment, but I think if we got a kind of a bit of a pressure going on social media, maybe we can say, let's have it every year. Come on, why not? Because when it's on the race, the women in the Europacup get more attention, more TV coverage, more fans, and more attention for women's ski racing is just a good thing. Okay, just a few races left now. Emilia Hetzel of Austria, and what a day it's been for Austria so far. We got a little bit back on her heels there. Thrown back and had to fight against the line, just kept herself away from the danger of that red banner. Emilia Hetzel is now 1.86 down, but looking so good in those turns coming into the gliding section. How good is her wax? We'll find out at the next time check. There are points still available. .330 down, it's going to be very difficult. I do like this shot from above. It takes some of, I find it takes some of the element of speed out, but you do get an idea of how they're choosing their line and the work they're doing, and you see the ruts really well, which must be more and more of an issue. In the end, 43rd, but a big grin and a big wave to the crowd, and you can just see when they come into the finishing arena how soft the snow is there. That's why I think there's been a couple of tumbles there. The snow is beating down on it, and it's really yeah, slushy is the only word. It really is very spring-like, like we're used to in April usually. Now we've got the Icelandic skier with the very fetching pink ski suit. I'm not sure if any Icelandic fans are watching. If they are, do forgive me when I try and say the name of Friggitsgeisdottir, because because I think by pronouncing it wrong, I've cursed her into missing that blue control gate. And she's one of the most charismatic skiers on the circuit, and I wish her so well because she brings so much joy to ski racing. But she didn't quite get it right. We're bound to start bib number 56, and it's another Swiss skier. It's Daria Zurlinden. Daria Zurlinden has a little bit of a wait, but off she goes. And a calm beginning because they don't have the speed taken from the Mauserfall, and then here it gets going. The carousel comes and it's fighting against the ice and against the G-forces and against the gradients, and it's all action until you come out of the Steilhang section and go. But then you've got to get deep into that tuck. And that's not a bad time so far. There are chances for points. If she can keep this going through the final sections. You know what? This is really good from Daria. And Daria getting those little, not too much work on the turns there, letting the skis flow, keeping the skis pointing downhill for as long as possible. Daria Zerlindung, what a year it's been for Swiss skiing. What a year it continues to be. Oh, that line error is frustrating for me. She's done it. Oh, Daria. If you've been watching the live stream here, produced by the Kitzbühel Ski Club, brought to you by me, Chris Cummins, I could have told you, you have to start that turn earlier. Oh dear. You could have got it on your mobile phone. You can tomorrow. Now. We're into the last skiers of this historic day, and the sun is still blessing them with rather hot, ferocious rays, which aren't good for the snow conditions, but they are good for the TV pictures. As Anine Thorsen from Norway lays down her run. A bit more shadow there than there has been, but when the sun is beating down, it's softening the snow. And Anine Thorsen is doing really well, actually. She's lost only 1/10 more time. She must have a very, very lightning quick ski preparation. Good wax, well done, that Norwegian ski technician, because she's still within a good chance of the points, and she's got such a lovely tuck. It seems to look so natural to her. Stands up a little bit tall there, but the line is better than we've... No, oh my goodness. There again, that's 3 Norwegians in a row who've done that. The Norwegian coaches, well, if they've got hair, they'll be tearing it out. So frustrating. It was looking like such a good run. If they could have that inspection again, they did it yesterday. Oh, they would. That's how I felt when that happened. The little boy lying in the snow. I wanted to lie down in the snow and go, guys, no. You're throwing away such good times. It's a cheeky little smile from the next skier in the start hut. Looking very relaxed, despite the ferocious course that they're about to tackle. And it's Team GB again. The second of the Brits join me. I'm British myself, so forgive a certain amount of national... Oh, that's nice, a bussy. The bussy is what we say in Austria for a kiss. The joys of spring there on the mountainside as 2 ski fans shared a peck on the cheek. It looks like Harry Potter's watching. Harry Potter, of course, one of the most famous Brits. More famous for his Quidditch than for his skiing.
Next interval, 1 minute 30 seconds.
Okay, so a bit of a wait. It's great to hear that there's a... What's going on? A marshal's coming down the slope in a snowplow. Something's happened. Oh, I think what's happened is one of the people who are employed to smooth out the ruts by sliding down sideways has slid down themselves, and that's caused the delay. That's the that's the scene we're being greeted with in Kitzbühel. Beautiful people in the sunshine. On International Women's Day, if you're a woman and you're listening, happy your day. We men should have a long, hard think about ourselves in many areas of life until there's equal pay, equal shared domestic duties, and a lot more respect. I've said it there. That's my piece for International Women's Day. That's all I want to say. But there's a lot of work to be done, and it's your day. Enjoy it. It's also my mum's birthday. Happy birthday, Mum. She's not listening. She's looking at some horse stables. So the beautiful ski suit of the British skier, emblazoned in the Union Jack. Honor Bartlett. Let's see. Imagine if she could break through and get some points. I would go wild with joy. I would honour. But after all that, I'm afraid it's gone wrong right at the beginning. Oh, bad luck on her. I think maybe the weight put her off. What went wrong? First two gates good, and then just didn't get any power on the outside ski. She got let's be honest, she got nowhere near getting the power on the outside ski to get inside the carousel. I mean, it is something. This section of snow is so iconic on the men's tour. There aren't many other sections of men or women skiing that's like it, and you just have to. The G-forces are incredible, and Honor she got it wrong. That's all we can say. But that's that. The next skier is from France. It's the last skier in today's race. And what a day's racing it's been. Camille Solaris, I've enjoyed it. I'm going to enjoy your run. Wouldn't it be great if you could slip onto the podium? She's certainly going for it. Ice skating away out of the start hut. And then trying to get this line right for the carousel. Well, she's done a lot better than Honor before her, but it's not looking the fastest, I have to say, if she's hoping to challenge for a place on the podium. She's 2 seconds down. I'd like to remind you that this is just day one of a 2-day historic weekend as we enjoy this run from the young French skier. I'm afraid a bit of the drama's gone out of it because she's 3.5 seconds down, which means that there's no chance of Europacup points at the moment. But what is a prelude to more racing tomorrow in Kitzbühel, brought to you by the Kitzbühel Ski Club. A very generous and forward-thinking ski club, race organisers who do their best to keep the athletes happy and commentators happy, I have to say too. And the general good vibes around Kitzbühel during ski racing time because the locals love it, the racers love it, and that was the run of Camille Solaris. That was the first of 2 women's Super Gs on the Europacup held in Kitzbühel, the first high-level ski race to be held here since 1961 on the women's side. The women getting the attention they deserve. It's all been televised. It's been spectacular racing. A home favourite won it, Nadine Fest, followed by Carmen Spielberg and Victoria Olivier. So in other words, an entirely Austrian podium. That will make people very happy in Kitzbühel and, of course, in the Austrian team. But we saw great racing all the way through the day. A few too many people with line inspection mistakes missed that blue gate. But a truly international field. We had a really good performance from the skier from Bosnia, I felt. But also, shout out, start bib 48, 39th position, Sabrina Simada of Kenya. That's the first Kenyan I've seen in a Super G. I've seen a Kenyan, no, it was a Ghanaian slalom skier. But it's great to see. And at the foot of the standings, it was Giselle Goringer. Honor Bartlett, my fellow Brit, did not finish, I'm afraid. Hardly started, she only got through to gates, but she lives to fight again tomorrow. Nadine Fest won it absolutely magnificently, and she is the leader in the World Cup overall standings, in the downhill standings, and in the Super G standings. She is the queen of Europacup speed skiing and the queen of the Europacup at the moment. As we look at the Kitzbühel bereft of any snow, looking very, very summery, I have to say. Yeah, pray for our winters. Protect Our Winters is the group I was trying to tell you about. They have all sorts of good initiatives to try and make skiing more sustainable. We can't stop the ravages of the climate crisis on our own, but we can all do our bit. And as we look along those overhead shots, some great dancing there, that's nice to see. Get off that, that's the girls' seat. Ah, there's. That's more like it. The Hahnenkamm racing extended into March. Of course, in January we were here enjoying the men. Oh, let's look at some of these thrills and spills. Some high fives, some hot sun, some red faces. Nadine, the winner. Skier from Andorra, or on the back seat, but in the standings. Oh, that was nasty, I thought. A crash in the finish. Look at how soft the snow was. And two Swiss coaches up in the stands looking for a good position. Oh, here's the winner. Let's look at Nadine Fest. And there, the three Austrians on the couch at the bottom. I hope they put on their sun cream. That's the Schwarze. You can see the ice melting. I've been on a fat bike on that. As we look over a spring like Kitzbühel, it's been a huge privilege for me, Chris Cummins, to join you from this ski area that I love and this sport that I love, ski racing, and watching this historic day. We were all there. You and me were there watching the day that the women returned to the strife. Goodbye from me, Chris. Join again tomorrow.